This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
This is where you fall down. You weren't ready when heaven rained down in a storm cloud. Oh, don't let your feelings out. Every word you speak on the back page, dripping in a joke in a seascape. In your love shell, you weren't ready to meet the angels. When you fall, then it don't. When you care, then it won't. You weren't ready when heaven rained down. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay on the line. When you fall, should've
strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, I know it, and we don't mess around as we talk about it. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. That has always been the gig around here. This is the Rated R Safety Show. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And we're hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Yeah, don't worry. It is that glorious Whip 'em Out Wednesday, September the 6th of 2023, day 249th of the year, and only 116 days left to go. Anyway, so as we are hanging out, and we are hanging out on the glorious Whip 'em Out Wednesday, yes, it's such an important day of the week that you can't miss out as we are talking and doing all the fun stuff. It's some interesting stuff already going on. Commentary about rectal itch going on in the chat. This gets weirder and weirder. Anyway, so if you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process of doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's Call In Radio. If you do the social media feeds, I love it, but I don't really see it towards the end. But when you go to Call In Radio, there's some video messaging, there's audio messaging, and there's text messaging. So you have all the options right there. And apparently it was just a total clusterfuck yesterday. Let's just talk about it. Depending on what video channel you were on and what server you were on via social media, it could or could have not worked yesterday. Yep, I was told. So what we ended up doing is our main platform that hosts the podcast aspect of what we do here is called Dystopia. So we put it up on Dystopia on video yesterday, just for the sake of doing so. I guess I should have put it on Safety FM Plus, but I didn't even think about that. So I'll get it up there on Safety FM Plus today as well. So that way you can see yesterday's episode if you wanted to see it. But remember, you always have the aspect of listening to the radio on Safety FM, the app itself, on Radio Big, the app. You can do the Live 365 app as well. We're also available on iHeart if you wanted to do it in that aspect. Or you can always go to the podcast at the end of the show. So always some options there. I always try to explain that it is audio option numero uno, and everything else is kind of numero dos and tres. And I never understand when I say dos y tres, is why I do the accent opposed to just doing it straight. So there you go. So a lot of stuff going on today, so you don't have to worry about that. That is why I am here, because we're going to talk about some things. So I guess we should talk about the world of the trend, because I think that that's going to be the important part as we are talking. So let's get into what the hell is trending, because it seems important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look around at the trends of the ends, number one, we're going to talk real quick about some post-pandemic Peloton slump. We'll talk about Delta's diarrhea. Yeah, I don't even know how we get into that. We'll also talk about Alex Murdaugh's attorney want a new trial in another Italian artifact gets damaged. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Bob Barker's cause of death has been revealed, and Tom Brady gets Botox. Yeah, I did say that. Barbie heads to PVOD, and potential boycott of the Crown may be on the horizon. We'll talk about that. And also, yesterday, Kylie Jenner was smooching rumors with Timothée Chalamet. That, for some reason, I don't even know why the hell that made it into this show. But we'll talk about all that kind of fun stuff. So as you know or may not know, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. It's kind of how it goes. We talk about what is going on. We talk about what is inside of the land of confusion here. So as we talk about safety in the news and safety, it covers kind of a plethora of things. So some people are not super excited that I just don't sit here and go, OSHA standard 5.272 says that we should. Now, this is the Rated R Safety Show. This show is the show that was requested, formatted by you, the listener. So some people get pissed off that that's not what it is. I have to go with the vast majority of the mob scene. It's kind of how it goes. So think about that. A lot of stuff there. So as we're going to talk today, there's going to be a lot of things that we will discuss, not discuss, and discuss in plenty of view. It is the month of September, which, time flies when you're having fun. In no time now, we're going to be talking about double digits before we get to the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's day 116th at the moment. So, I mean, it's just a matter of a small amount of time. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, I do have Mark Mayfield waiting already, and he wants to talk to you about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news. So I don't think we should make him wait. I don't think I should make you wait anymore in regards to me abbering. What do you think? I think it's a good idea. So let's go ahead and talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The former chairman of the Proud Boys is going to spend more than 2 decades behind bars. Brian Shook reports.
Enrique Tarrio and 3 other leaders of the far-right group were found guilty of seditious conspiracy earlier this year. On Tuesday, a judge sentenced Tarrio to 22 years in jail, the longest sentence handed down related to the 2021 U.S. Capitol riot. The judge approved a terrorism enhancement for Tarrio's sentence. Prosecutors had asked for Tarrio to be sentenced to 33 years in prison. I'm Brian Shook.
President Biden has awarded the Medal of Honor to an Army helicopter pilot for his actions during the Vietnam War.
He'd flown more than 2,000 combat missions, and he received a Silver Star, a Bronze Star, 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, and 43 Air Medals.
While speaking from the White House, the president detailed how retired Army Captain Larry Taylor carried out a daring rescue of a small patrol of U.S. soldiers who were surrounded by the enemy. Biden said Taylor did everything to answer the call of duty. President Biden will start wearing a mask again after the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19. The White House said Biden will mask up indoors and has tested negative. The press secretary said First Lady Jill Biden has mild symptoms and will remain in Delaware for the week as she recovers. Narcan will be available over the counter starting this week at major retailers like Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid. The nasal spray can be used to help people suffering from an opioid overdose and requires no training to use. A box contains 2 doses and sells for $45. And another major hurricane is likely forming in the Atlantic Ocean. The National Hurricane Center says a tropical depression strengthened into Tropical Storm Lee on Tuesday, packing winds of roughly 45 miles per hour. It's forecast to become a major hurricane later this week before reaching Category 4 status by Saturday. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. The former leader of the far-right group, the Proud Boys, has been sentenced to 22 years in jail for his role in the January 6th attack on the US Capitol. The US has warned Kim Jong-un that North Korea would pay a price for supplying Russia with weapons to use in Ukraine as Kim Jong-un prepares for a rare visit to Russia. China is rejecting an offer by Japan to join an international framework to test the radiation levels at the Fukushima wastewater discharge site.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
An Ohio senator is making a push to ban federal mask mandates.
This is coming back unless we stop it from happening. That's why I introduced this legislation, and I'm going to force the Democrats to vote on it. If they say the mask mandates are not coming back, then come to the Senate floor, vote with us, and say no more mask mandates. Let's make it bipartisan.
On Tuesday, Republican J.D. Vance introduced new legislation that aims to prevent federal agencies from requiring masks on commercial airlines, public transit, and in public schools. Known as the Freedom to Breathe Act, the bill would also prevent those industries from refusing service to people who choose not to wear a face covering. Vance claims the U.S. has tried mask mandates, but they failed to control the spread of viruses and violated basic bodily freedom. The government is working to recall 52 million airbag inflators over a risk of explosions. Lisa Taylor has a story.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said the inflators made by ARC Automotive could explode and throw shrapnel that carries a possibility of killing drivers or passengers. The agency has a public meeting scheduled for next month, which is necessary before asking for a court-ordered recall. It said the mechanism is at fault for at least 7 injuries and 2 deaths in the U.S. and Canada since 2009. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A sizzling heat wave is hitting the eastern U.S. this week. More than 50 million people were under heat alerts Tuesday, from Minnesota to Texas to Massachusetts. Several cities broke temperature records over the holiday weekend. Mid to upper 90s temperatures are in the forecast today in places like Philadelphia and New York City. In Washington, D.C., the mayor activated a heat emergency. The South and the Northeast could see high temps for a few more days, while the Midwest is likely to get some relief. And former Price is Right host Bob Barker reportedly died from Alzheimer's disease. That's according to TMZ, which said it obtained Barker's death certificate. The outlet reports the document says Barker's death came years after his Alzheimer's started. The daytime Emmy winner died at his Los Angeles home last month at the age of 99. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host
of the Rated R Safety Show.
Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, this is something, all right. This is hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, also known as the Rated R Safety Show. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world, because that's what we do. We talk about the things that are going on inside of the world-o. No doubt about that. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's do it all. Because why would you not want to do it all? You know, I do it all for you. You know, isn't that how the saying's supposed to go? How the speechum eachum is supposed to go about, how it's supposed to be talked about, how things are supposed to be maneuvered in that particular regards. I mean, I don't know. I never know. By the way, what the hell's up lately with all these changes to Google? And let me phrase that properly. What is up with all the changes? Hold on. What is up with all the changes in particular going on with wow? Apparently my computer just is wanting to take over. With all the changes going on with YouTube and how the Chrome portion looks inside of Google Chrome that goes into YouTube. It's a hot mess to talk about. Maybe we should just talk about something else. Let's get into some new stuff, because I think that's going to be important. And listen, on a day like today, a lot of stuff to talk about. It really is. So Alex Murdaugh attorneys are requesting a new trial based on evidence that they say that it shows that the Colton County Clerk Rebecca Hill tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony. As for why Hill would violate the former attorney's constitutional right to a fair and impartial jury, the defense says that it was to do with cash in the post-verdict media blitz for her book Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders. Several jurors from the jury case came forward with their own claims of tampering by Hill, including several private conversations, she said, that they had with the foreperson, and possible fabricated stories that she told. Remember that Murdaugh was found guilty in March for a fatality shooting of his wife, Maggie, and 22-year-old son, Paul, at their estate in June of 2021. This is according to USA Today. So listen, I don't know if you've seen any of the docu-series that they have available about this thing. It's an interesting one. And of course, listen, the way that people share stuff, regardless, I mean, it'd be at that show, any other show, or any information that's provided, there's always going to be, we'll say, quote unquote, a jaded point of view when it comes to some of that aspect, just the way that it goes. So just think about that as we are talking, no doubt about it. What else do we have going on? What else do we want to talk about today? What else do we want to maneuver in the maneuver and all that stuff? 4 astronauts splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean on Monday after spending 6 months in the International Space Station, returning were NASA astronauts Stephen Bowen and Warren Woody Hoberg, Russia's Andrea, and I will not try to butcher their last name, and United Arab Emirates Sultan Al Nida. Later this week, 2 Russians and 1 American will also return home from the ISS after having been up there for a year. A year. Wow, that's crazy. Speaking about splashing down, a bunch of students from the University of Wisconsin-Madison fell into a lake of Mennonite on Monday when the pier that they were standing on was randomly collapsed. Didn't do anything else besides collapsing. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking, for sure. No, seriously. It just randomly collapsed. It didn't do anything else besides collapse. So there you go. So let's take a look real quick. There was these things that happened during the pandemic that people were very excited about. Some things that happened during the pandemic that people didn't love, but hey, they tried to alter their life to make sure that things would work out in the way and the fashion that they wanted them to. So let's talk about a little bit about that. The pandemic surge of Peloton purchases has fizzled out and are being replaced with treadmill purchases. Lou Latine, chief executive of exercise equipment company Echelon Fit, says that people are trading in their fitness instruction and yelling at them for streaming platforms. People want their 30 minutes of cardio, but they also want to watch the latest Netflix show, he explained. According to Jungle Scott, which tracks sales of these sort of things, treadmill sales have soared 99% from last year compared to 3% drop in stationary bike sales. Another point of a favor for treadmills is the price point that are significantly cheaper than Peloton. Worth remembering, last year Peloton laid off about 5,000 employees. Founder and CEO John Foley stepped down from the company and issued several recalls. In light of those occurrences, subscribers have dropped by 29,000 in the most recent quarter. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I wasn't a big believer in it. You don't want to do that stationary bike shit. I mean, really, if you have the opportunity to go out, move around, and, see the world. I mean, and I guess if you don't live in a city, that's going to probably be a big aspect. If you live in the middle of downtown, this might be a bitch to do. But if you can go around, ride a bike, and kind of get nature in on the way that it's supposed to go, it's a world of difference than opposed to actually doing it from the standpoint of, not going to do it in that format. Just saying. Recently, I have picked up the bike thing as of late, and I love it. It is one of those things that I enjoy. I look forward to in my day doing the bike ride. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just old at this point. Who the hell knows? It's just one of those things that that's coming up.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Nothing better than when you hit the wrong button.
Duh.
So some stuff there for sure as we are talking. Let's talk about this real quick because this one seems to be an intriguing one that has come up. It's an intriguing one that has made the roundabouts and all that stuff. But a Delta flight heading to Barcelona, Spain, was forced to return to Atlanta International Airport in Georgia after a passenger had explosive diarrhea, and it got everywhere. I'm not joking. I would love to tell you that it was a joke, but it's not. Other passengers quickly took to X, formerly Twitter, to share their disgust. Then one person wrote, "My partner was on the flight and it was pretty bad. It was dribbled down the aisle and smelled horrible. No word on the passenger's condition or the level of embarrassment." This is according to The Independent. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know how you talk about this, but if you are having anal leakage in this particular regards, there's not much you could do besides sit in the bathroom. I mean, that's if you're allowed to go to the bathroom. But how the hell would your partner know what the odor is like? I would love to know that.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Sometimes I wonder about some of the stuff that we talk about on the show. It gets a little crazy. Think about it for a moment. I mean, some of the disgusting stuff that's talked about on this Rated R Safety Show. We should be thrown off the air. Yeah, maybe that's the next thing. Another Italian landmark has been vandalized by an idiot tourist. Sorry to put it in that fashion. A 22-year-old German man climbed the fountain of Neptune in Florence for a selfie, breaking a piece of the marble in the process. He also damaged the horse hoof on the way down. There is no justification against vandalism of cultural heritage. Florence Mayor Dario Nadalia said in a post on X, formerly Twitter, of course, about the 16th century site. Officials say that it's about $5,400 worth of damage, which the vandal may be responsible for. This is according to The Insider. Meanwhile, in China, 2 construction workers were arrested after they allegedly making a giant hole in the Great Wall of China with an excavator to create a shortcut through it. Both have been charged with destroying a cultural relic. This is according to China Daily. Something tells me that it's not going to be as easy for them as it is for others. So let's talk about some of this stuff because it's just part of the sick bay of what I'm seeing out there. So I want to reference this real quick. Jill Biden has once again tested positive for COVID. The First Lady is currently isolating at her home in Delaware, away from her husband, President Joe Biden, who is at the White House. The White House says she is expecting only mild symptoms. Take a listen to this one. Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg has COVID. She's missed season 27 premiere of The View on Tuesday due to the virus. Her co-host, Joy Behar, told viewers that Goldberg is on the mend. So there you go. Are we going to start seeing more COVID cases? I have a friend of a friend, not a made-up story there, that they busted out with the COVID. And, well, of course, it's always areas of concern when you start hearing about people getting it. Because now you're starting to wonder, is there a different strand? Just kind of some of the stuff that comes up when you're talking about it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. And I have to tell you, I'm not going to lie when I say this next portion. Not that I normally lie on the show. Not that I can think of it, at least. I mean, I give the information as I get it. But I will tell you that I am missing some John Smalls with him giving us the market beat minute. I'm not going to lie there. You know, he's decided that that's not something he wants to do because there's so many other sources that are able to talk about the information. And I get it. I mean, I get it because, hey, you're kind of hanging out doing some weird stuff trying to get these recording good. So I'm only giving you the portions that I'm able to find these days. And sometimes they seem limited, but let's talk about them. The Dow was down about 196 points to close at 34,642 on Tuesday. The S&P dropped about 19 points to close at 4,497, and the Nasdaq was down 11 points to close at 14,021. West Texas Intermediate closed at $87 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $90. The national average price of a gallon of gas was at $3.81 on Tuesday. Bitcoin dropped about 0.36% on Tuesday, trading just over $25,722. There were more than 2,309 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, with about 57 such cancellations. Now, I don't know how long it lasted, but United Systems were down yesterday. Yeah, I'm calling out one airline. So they had a ground stoppage. Anyways, let's talk about this. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $461 million jackpot, or a $223.5 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. 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 Some stuff to think about as we are talking about it. So I did mention this before, but Barbie will be available on digital purchase and rental next Tuesday. The $1 billion flick will be available to own on digital for $29.99 and rent for 48 hours for $24.99 on a host of platforms, including Prime Video, Apple TV, and Google Play. So I guess if you're interested, there is some opportunities to do that. Anyways, take a listen to this. Long Beach police are investigating a string of suspected arsons, fires that have left vehicles destroyed. This resident says that he has her on edge.
Yeah, it makes me extremely uneasy. I mean, all of the residents here are uneasy because we don't know whose car is going to be next. We don't know, every time we hear the fire alarm, it's almost like PTSD.
PTSD. 5 vehicles have been mysteriously set on fire in the past 2 weeks, and police think that someone is going to be around doing it on purpose. 3 of the car fires inside, 3 of the car fires inside the parking structure for residents' apartment building, including the most recent one that was on Tuesday morning. One person is interested in having them identified, but they are not considered a suspect yet. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Take a listen to this. A Joliet man is being sentenced to 15 months in prison for causing a crash that left a state trooper seriously hurt back in 2021. Will County State Attorney James Glasgow believes that they should be tougher penalties for those who violate Scott's law.
The 15-month sentence handed down by the judge today was a proper sentence with what her restrictions were under the law. But just in looking at the law, I think it's time to take another look at it.
Angel Casillas received a sentence for Scott's law's violation. Authorities say the trooper Brian Frank suffered a severe brain injury after the vehicle slammed into a squad car on February of 2021 on I-55 in Will County. Casillas pled guilty to a Class 4 felony on August the 4th. So there you go, some stuff to think about as we are talking. A state employee is raising concerns about about the children being cared about at Walter Rutgers Psychiatric Hospital in Michigan. And not being allowed outside for several months. Crystal Bonner says that her kids have been stuck inside since June after they were moved, where they were following the active shooter drill that the staff was not aware ahead of time.
They're forgotten that it's a healthcare facility, not a correctional facility.
Bonner says that the windows have also been covered up, preventing kids from being able to look outside. State officials say the kids were allowed to go outside yesterday. That's kind of some interesting things to talk about. I mean, it's like, hey, we didn't talk about that. We didn't do anything with it, but hey, this is what we're going to deal with. So there you go. A lot of stuff to talk about for sure. Let me do some flipping here because this is what we're going to do. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and talk about that thing that we would normally do at our time here that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So yes, it is a main story kind of day. Don't worry about that because we are going to story of the main of the story. There is no doubt about that as we are doing our conversations. So just keep that in mind as we are going through the información. But keep this in mind too. So as I am going to be talking today, I want to go ahead and go into some information that I guess we would not normally discuss. I guess I can look at it that way, as we would not normally go through some of the information. We do talk a little bit about everything, I feel like, as we go through information here of things and not things and all that fun stuff. But man, sometimes we have to go into some things that nobody really wants to discuss. But also at the same time, too, I feel like they should be discussed because they're so important and crucial information in regards of what is going on inside of our world. And as you might know or not know, depending on how you take a look around at some of the things, our month today is the month where we would normally discuss Suicide Prevention Month is really what it boils down to. So I had found a news story yesterday, and it is an older news story, so I don't want it to come across like it's not, because it definitely is an older news story. But I wanted to play it today for us to have just kind of a brief discussion about this. So if you could bear with me for just one moment, let's go through this news story. And it's talking about Robin Williams. Take a listen to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robin Williams.
Perhaps it was no coincidence that Robin Williams' HBO tour was called Weapons of Self-Destruction.
Ta-da! You are an alcoholic.
And some people say, Robin, I'm a functioning alcoholic, which is, you can be one. It's like being a paraplegic lap dancer. You can do it. Just not as well as the others, really.
And perhaps it was no coincidence either that Williams did that tour in 2009, a year after a major operation.
Please, I've had heart surgery, thank you.
Surgery that he says triggered mood swings.
But after the surgery, you get very emotional. It's like, it's like weird. People go, how are you? God, thanks for asking.
For Williams, it was all fair game.
When I was growing up, they used to say, Robin, drugs can kill you. And now that I'm 58, my doctor's going, Robin, you need drugs to live.
Raw, honest, self-deprecating humor in which Williams shares with the world his struggles with alcohol and drugs.
I had a little problem with alcohol. It wasn't really a problem. Everybody had it. But it was the idea.
You were...
I was an alcohol, a drunk.
You were a drunk. Now, do you think you've beaten it?
No, Larry. It's always there. You've beaten it. Yeah, I kicked it.
No,
I'm fine. No, the idea is that you always have a little bit of fear, like you have to just keep at it. You know, it's a day by day.
In 1982, as a young comedian, Williams famously partied with pal John Belushi, hours before the Blues Brothers star overdosed on heroin and cocaine.
Cocaine, what a wonderful drug. Anything that makes you paranoid and impotent, give me more of that.
Williams soon quit cold turkey and remained sober nearly 2 decades until 2003, then relapse and rehab, here in 2006 for comic relief.
It's always good for me to come to Vegas after rehab. I love that.
It's a good town for you.
Good town for me. It's like going to Colombia, you know, where are you going for detox? Colombia. Just to take it easy in a 24-hour alcohol town.
In 2008, when his second marriage ended as a result of alcoholism, he says, Williams again went to rehab, joking about it with U.S. troops.
I was violating my standards quicker than I could lower them.
Wherever he went, it seems there was always laughter. But with that came unbearable pressure. Williams suffered manic depression.
You know, no, I'm not always fun to be around, and that there is this thing of, the world sees one thing, and what am I like at home? Different, because I can't always be on.
Surrounded by millions who adored him, loved him, yet in the end, could not save him.
Good night!
Deborah Thayerick, CNN, New York.
So I wanted to discuss that today because I think that sometimes we tend to forget that things might sometimes not be exactly what you assume in other people's lives. You did hear him say part of that story that you cannot constantly be on in regards of of how he was as a performer. And listen, when you take a look at his body of work, it's happy-go-lucky in regards to the things that are happening, in regards to the things that he's doing. And you might sit here for a moment and go, well, can you tell me what the tie-in is? Well, think about it. You have people that you interact with day in and day out that they might be the happy-go-lucky. They might be the people that you think that are, it's the best thing in the world that they have going on, but you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, he told you that he had it was referenced inside of it, that he had a cocaine problem. He had an alcohol problem. He suffered a manic depression. And it's not that any of these things are easy, but he didn't make it look like that was the things that were going on in his world. And sometimes it might be easier to look and find help than not to do anything at all. Because sometimes we want to sit back and pretend that nothing is happening. And maybe if we would just take that one moment and think twice before we say some smart-ass remark to someone that we work with. Maybe if we thought about it twice before we said anything in regards of, maybe we don't understand what they have going on. Maybe the happiest person in the room, as you are looking around, is maybe not the happiest person in the room. Just think about those things. And as we talk about this, look at it from a perspective that sometimes when we are inside of work, we bring in a different person We bring in a different personality than what is going on in our real life, and vice versa. And we kind of covered some of this yesterday, if you got to see it or if you got to hear it. And it's not that I want to do a continuation about it, but it's one of those things that this man, Robin Williams, was one of the funniest people on the planet at the time. And he suffered behind the scenes. So how many people around you in your workplace might just be faking it? Think about that today. Maybe that's something else to give some consideration to as you move out throughout your day today. Seriously, think about that just a bit.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com. ONE.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Ready to meet the angels. When you fall, then I don't. When you care, then I won't. You weren't ready when heaven rained down. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay alive. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Hour numero uno of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. And we are still doing our thingo. As long as we're not doing somebody else's thingo, right? It is still Whip 'em Out Wednesday. This right here, When You Fall, Oceanic. Coming your general direction. Yeah, right there. We'd like to thank Oceanic for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. You can give it a little streamer-eamer action on YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. Or you can just keep it here and take a listen. Yeah, I keep on thinking that we need to really probably just make a permanent song. This one seems like a good one. This one seems like a good one to do it. Think about as we are talking. I don't know what the hell. So, there you go. So, some Oceanic. I feel like we played a lot of this. Yeah, we just kind of played the whole song, so there you go. There you go. Some Oceanic for you. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk about some other things as I change cans here. Let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. All you have to do is just go to their website. Click on the section that says Find Help. There is a plethora of phone numbers there. There's a plethora of information in regards of what to do. For you to know that you're not alone, and if you need immediate help, and you're in the U.S. or Canada, you can text TWLOHA at 741-741. If you are in the U.K., text the word SHOUT to 85258. If you're in Ireland, text the word HOME to 50808. If you need the National Prevention Lifeline, call or text 988. If you need the Trans Lifeline, 877-565-8860. And if you need the Trevor Project, 866-488-7386. Listen, this information, I always tell people, I think it's super important to discuss. I think it's super important to go through the whole aspect of talking about it, opposed to it just being one of those things where, hey, we hardly ever talk about it. We hardly ever give it any kind of discussion, because I think that these things are super important as we do move forward. Anyways, TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. The easiest way to find help. Listen, know that you're not alone, because that's always important to talk about, discuss, and move forward with. Let's continue talking a little bit about some other things that are going on inside of this world. Why not? It seems to know that just about everything else, artificial intelligence, AI, can now be used to predict how healthy you will be later in life at a press of a button. Researchers from the Edith Cowan University in Australia, yes, in Australia, have created AI software that can quickly analyze bone density scans and predicts the risk of future health conditions, including cardiovascular disease and dementia. It does this by detecting a buildup within the abdominal aorta walls and can indicate a person's risk of heart attacks, strokes, falls, fractures, and late life dementia. The new software can analyze roughly 60,000 images in just a day. Researchers say the development may lead to a new approaches for early cardiovascular disease detection and disease monitoring. This is great and all, but has anyone thought of to ask AI if it has any ideas how to put out a forest fire? I'm just asking. I mean, think about it. How do you put out a forest fire? Okay, so think about that. And call me crazy, but for some reason, it's uncomfortable having a computer in charge of deciding how much longer I get to live. I mean, think about that one. That's the one that should drive you crazy.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, too stupid for sure. There is no doubt about that. As we are talking, take a listen to this. There must be a whole bunch of interesting things to do in New York than this, as the city deals with major rat problems, citing doubled last year's, prompting the mayor to advertise for a somewhat bloodthirsty head rat catcher. The rodent issue is, to some, New York's latest must-visit attraction, to believe it or not. Some tours get through now selling tours to the notorious rat-infested sites. That's right. This means that the rat tourism is fast becoming a boom industry, a new fad that started by the New York resident Kenny Bulwark, who began uploading videos of rats running around in the city to his TikTok account and even live stream vermin in action. The stream became a hit with over 10,000 viewers watching as soon as Bullock began receiving inquiries about the tourists arriving to New York on who to ask to take them to the city's rat hotbeds themselves. Weird when I go on vacation and I want out of the rat race, and that's what I go see if you kind of take a look at it. And lovely, New York rats have gone viral. We can only hope that they're not contagious. I mean, I tell people all the time when we sit down and have discussions about, I don't know what to market. I don't know what to do. And I tell them there is a market for everything. There is not a joke as I say that.
Duh.
So just some stuff to think about for sure as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, it is 52 minutes past the top of the hour. Why don't we do this? Let's bring some John Smalls in and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Taylor. Joseph Campbell said, "Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors where there were only walls." Wow, what a quote. It can be scary to follow your bliss. What if it doesn't work out? You'll have voices in your head telling you that this could all go wrong, or that could all go wrong, or maybe it will just all fall apart. You could listen to these voices, sure. Many people do. Think about the millions of people who let fear stop them every single day. You don't have to listen to these voices. You can wake up, you can shake these fears away, and then you can go out and conquer another day doing that thing you feel like you might just have been born to do. Get out there. Go get them. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Carmack Group Brands is recalling nearly 250,000 pounds of frozen chicken strip dinners because they may contain pieces of plastic. The USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service says the boxed banquet chicken strip meals were shipped to retailers nationwide. Packages with Best Buy dates of December 11th, 2024 and January 1st and 7th, 2025 are impacted. At least one oral injury has been reported.
Well, too much screen time is being linked to developmental delays in children. Trey Thomas with more.
That's according to a new study published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. Researchers looked at data from 7,000 kids and found that 2 or more hours of screen time increased the likelihood of developmental delays, especially in problem solving and communication.
Health updates. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around and I look at the year of 2020, a strand of bacteria nicknamed Conan the Bacterium survives 3 years attached to the International Space Station. The bacteria's real name, I would love to give it to you, but it doesn't make any sense to me, was placed outside of the ISS by a team of Japanese researchers who wanted to study the survival in outer space. Experts believe that it could lead to a better understanding whether life might exist on other planets. So I guess it makes it an interesting study. That happened back in 2020. If we're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about this. Jillian Newman turns 22. John Wall, 33. Max George, 35. Pippa Middleton turns 40. Braun Strowman turns 40. Annika Rose, 51. Idris Elba turns 51. Justina Machado turns 51. Macy Gray turns 56. And Roger Waters of Pink Floyd turns 80 today. So there you go. What else do we have? Let's see. Some things that you can celebrate today if you wanted to do so. It's National Read a Book Day, National Colorblind Awareness Day, National Coffee Ice Cream Day, Global Talent Acquisition Day, and Fight Procrastination Day. I think that day should probably be celebrated every day because it is a difficult day. Or it's a difficult thing, better saying, to probably fight. So think about that. Anyways, let's talk about this because we are right around the corner from it. Tickets are still available for the Conklin Conference taking place at the end of the month, September the 27th through the 29th in Orlando. If we would love to see you out there, it's the Conklin Conference. Todd Conklin, of course, will be there with Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, and Andrea Baker. We would love to see you there. Come out, hang out, and do that thing that we do. No doubt about that one. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io to find out more. Safetyfm.io to find out more information where you can come hang out in Florida for the Safety Differently Workshop, also known as the Conklin Conference. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Let's take a look at some other things before we get you the hell out of here, of course, because why would we not do that? If you do need a random joke for today, it should sound something like this. So this is what I would probably recommend for you. Before I got married, I had 4 theories about bringing up children. Now I have 4 children and no theories. Okay, I really don't have 4 children. That's just a made-up story. Let's see what else. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Which person's biopic would you be most likely be excited to see, and which actor should play them? What else do we have? Question for the water cooler. 49% of college students will do this at least once this semester. What is it? Doing all-night studying. Pull an all-nighter. Yeah, that's kind of a college thing that most people do. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Radio Big to hang out for the next couple hours or so to talk about that thing that we do in the world of music. Would love to see you over there if you're interested in coming over. If you're not, that's perfectly fine as well. If not, you can hang out on Safety FM and hang out with Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's what happens. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. Make sure that you remember it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, so don't forget to whip 'em out because that is going to be an important aspect of it. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Every positive change in your life begins with a clear, unequivocal decision that you are either going to do something or stop doing something. So, keep that in mind as we are talking. So, with that being said, that's going to sum it up. Thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.